acting like an agent. I love being an agent in the field. I love being a team builder and offering that gift to others, this business opportunity. I'm waiting to go live on YouTube and I'll get started. There we
Like an
go.
agent.
All right. I'm glad I captured that part. I never know when it starts. All right. I got the screen blurred because I'm going to go to the whiteboard in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to thank you for being here. Tuesdays are going to be fun because it's team building tips. And it's really a passion I have. Remember, I got my story. If you haven't heard it, I'll keep it brief. But I was a GM employee. I did the college thing. I was fortunate. My parents helped me get through, paid for me to go through college. But I had some second chances. I didn't take school serious out of high school. And so I did buckle down in college to transfer to a university, which I did. And my parents told me, hey, if you can get in, we'll pay for it. And it was hard for them to do. And they did. So I had that gift going my way. And then after I started working in corporate America, I didn't realize I liked it. But I had the pressure. My parents just helped me get through college. And I've got this good corporate job. But I thought 40 years. I mean, when you look at what we're doing here in our business, not everyone gets involved. Not everyone wants to do it. But imagine having to put 40 years into something to build a retirement, right? And to get your income and grow up that ladder. It's like a uphill thing, and the bottom can be pulled out at any time, right? Corporate jobs are great, but I just thought I just can't do this for 40 years. I just can't, and I don't want to. I got too much energy to go build something and be a part of something important, and create a income ceiling and bust it and get through it quick. I didn't want to have to wait until I was 50 to be able to have financial independence by saving every year for 20 years. And there's some people on that path right now. And if you've taken that path, there's nothing wrong with that path because you're okay with it and you've been able to live. And I mean, most people who have jobs in America are in the top 1% of the world income. It only takes $33,000 a year to be in the top 1% world's income. So a lot of people aren't happy with the one percenters, and most of us are part of the one percenters when you look out throughout the world. So, but if you've chosen that path, maybe you're like, hey, but I wouldn't mind an off ramp. You know, when we've got a lot of people. I live in Michigan, down here in the um, well, isn't that funny? I got an age spot coming in about where I live. So now I get to point, yeah, it's just a tattoo I put to show people where I live. But up here in the northern part of Michigan, where all the ski hills are, all the up north cabins are, the lakes, beautiful lakes, the sand dunes, Traverse City, Mackinac Island, that's where everyone likes to go when you have a 4-day weekend or a holiday, 4th of July or something, Memorial Day, Labor Day. Everybody wants to go up north. And my parents had a cabin up north, and friends of mine had cabins up north. But when I was working at General Motors, if 4th of July came, that meant, or Labor Day, that meant everybody who's got jobs is trying to go up north. And there was always a traffic jam. There's always a traffic jam going up north. And I remember my sister-in-law, there was a city called Bay City, and there was a river, a drawbridge. You ever seen a drawbridge? Most of you have, but the bridge is shut and the cars can go. But when a ship comes, they got to lift it up. Well, I-75, which is a freeway that goes from the top of the United States down to the bottom, all the way through Florida, has a drawbridge in Bay City. And when you're going up north and you've got everybody trying to go and it's already bumper to bumper traffic, everyone's moving along at good speed, but it's bumper to bumper. And then they got to lift that because some ship is full of rocks or coal or salt or something leaving Bay City and getting out to the lake out here and traveling. Road goes up, it's up for half hour, and you're now stuck for 3, 4 hours because thousands of cars are coming per hour and they're all just collecting and collecting and collecting. And I remember going, it's not worth going up north if we can't leave at, 7 a.m. because we're going to sit in traffic if we get a drawbridge and coming home, you'd want to leave Sunday morning because you got to be home at work. If you leave at 6 o'clock, you're going to be traffic jam. Why do I say all this? Because that's what a corporate America is too, right? I mean, on a traffic jam, you can only go if the cars in front of you are moving. And I was at General Motors and I wanted to go right to the front. I wanted to become president like now. I wanted to, obviously, I didn't have the experience to, but I didn't want to be limited based on are there positions available in front of me? Are there jobs available? Or does someone have to quit, retire, get fired before I can fill a new spot? And when a company is growing, there's a lot of job advancement. But when a company is not growing and it's an old legacy company and IBM and stuff like that, even Apple and different companies, they already got all the leadership up there. It's hard hard to start at the staff level and work your way up. And it becomes like a traffic jam where you got to wait. You just got to wait until a spot opens up. But it still pays you well. It still gives you health care and it still takes good care of you. So it can be worth it. But my sister-in-law lived in Bay City. She grew up in Bay City and she knew where that drawbridge was, but she knew if you leave the freeway and you go through town into Bay City, this is long before maps, GPS maps on her phone. Google would tell you that now. But back then, we didn't have Google Maps. And she'd say, follow me. We're going to get off over here. We're going to go into downtown Bay City. There's a little bridge over here. We won't have to cross that. And she gave us a different workaround. And you know what's funny is that would save us all kinds of time. All that was someone who had gone another path. And then we'd get back on and we'd be up in Boyne Mountain skiing, and our friends would still be just getting through the drawbridge. And because we had a different way. And so when I got started in this business, when someone talked to me about building a team and starting this business, what I thought is I'm in the traffic jam called General Motors. I'm in it and I'm on the fast path. I'm actually in the fast lane. We're creeping, but we're going by some other cars and we're like, yeah, it's actually paying off, right? But it's still someone introduced me to another way, a way to bypass that traffic jam and to move ahead up the ladder of financial income faster. And it was a home-based business. Someone invited me into this business. Actually, I called an ad in the newspaper to be transparent. I was seeking, and I called an ad, and that took me to a meeting and a long about story. I recruited some people who they told me about a different business. I went and looked at that business, and long about here I am in a position where I'm able to bypass the traffic jam and actually left uh, the freeway of General Motors because I got to the point where I was earning more in a month than I was in 3 months at GM. And I thought it's hard to keep going to do something you don't like doing. I thought I'd be able to triple my income if I left. And the reality is being full-time in a home-based business versus part-time doesn't really, if you're impactful in your part-time, you can do it without having to go full-time. I mean, I learned that after leaving, but I certainly had leisure time and I certainly had a lot more fun. And I didn't have to worry about going up north just on holidays. I could go up north any day I wanted, right? Now in this virtual world, when you introduce someone to this business, they have the benefit of working from anywhere in the world. I had someone call me the other day and said, hey, I'm thinking about going to France. Do you mind if I go to France? And they work for the company. And they're like, I'm gonna work from France, but I have this unique opportunity to go to France, and I'll still get online and do the things. And of course, go. That's the beautiful thing. We don't have a central office here in Michigan that we all work out of. We did, but we found we never used it. So everything's stored in the clouds anyway, and it's like we can work from anywhere. And Wade's got an office down in Greenville, but I don't have an. Closed my office, and I built out my office here in my basement. So I've got I don't know, maybe a 2,000 square foot office down here that was bigger than what I had in downtown Main Street in Ann Arbor. In Milford, you can build this business part time. Now, why am I saying all this? Because if you're stuck in that traffic jam of trying to get to the top and there's no cars moving, it's like being in the grocery aisle and they're doing price check on 13. It doesn't matter what rush you're in and how you're ready to pay, and you selected great groceries and you're ready to go. If you're late to somewhere, sorry, price check on 73, and they're doing a price check. And instead of you moving along, there's a traffic jam. Someone's got to retire, quit, fire, right? And so I look at this as a gift, as a solution. I look at DAC as a solution of that. And so when I'm recruiting someone, I'm not making money on them. I'm giving them something. Now, will I financially be rewarded? Absolutely. Would I offer it even if I wasn't? I refer companies all the time that I don't earn money. So if I knew of a business, if I didn't have DAC and I learned of it, I'd mention it to people periodically because it's a great business for people. But because we get paid on it, there's even more of an incentive. But I lead, my thing isn't getting mine. My thing is giving my time, giving my attention to help someone get out of that corporate job. Someone help me escape the rat race. So my goal now is to help others escape that rat race. And I take it very, very seriously. So when you're recruiting someone, do you look at it that way? Or do you look at it as, they're not going to do much, and I'm just gonna get them in, and maybe I can make some money on them, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to ask you to spin the apple around. You're looking at a rotten side, spin it around. It's bright red over there. You can still eat half of it. right? Some apples are mushy on the back, but they're good. Some bananas, you got to break it in half and throw away the aged stuff to eat the rest. Perspective is there's always a better perspective and there's always a bad perspective with everything. So one of those success things that you can do is perspective management on yourself and then in your team. Leadership is encouraging others, but also helping them manage their perspective. A head coach has to correct things and discipline things, but always keeping the perspective of we're doing this to help you become a champion, right? And so your perspective and how you look at this opportunity will determine. If you're on yesterday's leadership call, we talk about your belief. And if you believe in your goal and you believe in what you're going to do and why you're doing it, you'll attract the right behaviors, right? If you don't believe in it, you won't attract the right behaviors. Well, the same thing happens with this. If you believe DAC could get someone to six-figure income this year or more and allow them to escape that rat race or be a solution for someone who's in their up in age and they don't have a retirement and they want to catch up quickly and they want to start making big dollars and build a team themselves to earn overrides and earn great income. If you're earning $4,000 a month, it's like you have $700,000 put away in an investment account just because 4,000 a month, because that's about what you could draw off that in your retirement. So just 4,000 a month, it's like you already caught up to saving 700 grand. Most 50-year-olds don't have 50,000 put away. So we can help people get caught up. So if whether it's escape the rat race, get caught up with the retirement, um, supplement their income to pay for college, pay off debt, whatever the reason is, we've got a solution. If it involves finances, we've got a solution. And our solution doesn't cause them risk of money. Our solution doesn't cause them um, selling things at a price higher than they can get elsewhere. Our solution doesn't involve them needing 20,000 people in their team or 2,000 or paying 15 grand for this program or paying seven for that program or 3 grand for that program. It doesn't start that way. It starts at 39.95. But then you find out about the annual plan, the 700, and then the 700, once you're in that, they tell you about the 2,700 to be in the inner circle. And the 2,700 inner circle, when you're there, you really got to go to this high level. There's only 50 of you going to go, and that's 17,000. And in the $17,000 training, when you get there, you can work one-on-one with the idol, and that one-on-one training is only $35,000 a year, and you can get rich. You become a millionaire. Now that's happening all over. In fact, the FTC put a rule out yesterday that said they're putting a stop. Well, they voted three out of five voted to put rules in place on what home-based business companies can say about income and what these programs, these online digital marketing program and funnel program and this funnel and that funnel, all these things promising stuff. The FTC is cracking down on it. It's going to take a year for it to get passed and all that kind of stuff. But the FTC has already approved it. Now there's a public hearing for 60 days where we can all comment about it for 60 days. And then they rule on it. It takes about 6 months to a year before it's enacted. Then they give all the violators about 6 months to comply, send them all letters to comply, and then it becomes rule. So it's a couple years out. But the bottom line is we don't have to worry about it because we don't do the stuff. But that's prevalent out there. So when people are looking at their options, they're in that triangle called, it's not a pyramid, but it looks like one: president, vice presidents, and then right, start at the bottom, climb and try to shuffle your way through the traffic jam. Or what we say, start at the top. You are the CEO of your company and start building a team, build a team, build a team, build, and eventually you override that team because you deserve it because you supported it. You deserve it because you supported it. That can catch you up on your retirement. That can catch you up on being debt free. That's what allows you to eventually have freedom of time where you don't have to put in the 40 years to get to the retirement. You could actually put in 4 years with us or 6 years. Now, there's no guarantee. I will say this. One of the things I wanted to do before this is look up how many Century 21 offices there are in the United States. Someone could probably do that while we're talking, just doing a search. I'm going to guess it's less than 5,000. I'm going to guess it's less than 5,000. I could be way off. Maybe there's 30,000. I don't know. But I'm going to guess it's less than 5,000. One of the biggest real estate companies in the world, I bet. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I got to do this. I won't keep you long. How many offices does Century 21 have nationwide in the United States? Okay, while this does its little work for me, um, we'll see what approximately 14,000 independently owned franchise broker offices, 14,000 Oh, that's in 86 countries. This suggests there's several thousand Century 20 offices across our country. Okay. So let's say there's 5,000. Is that what I said? 5,000? Because there's 14,000 throughout the world. It's 5,000. How many Century 21 agents have you met in your lifetime? Maybe you haven't met a lot, but there's been hundreds of thousands that got licensed. Why is there only 5,000 offices? Because only 5,000 are going to be serious about it. Only 5,000 are going to be really, really, really dedicated. You don't have to have, if you had just you and a team of 10, you can become financially independent. Now, those 10 may build a team of 10, and those 10 will be able to be, what I say is this, for every one ace you have, and I'm going through these are tips. You have ace cards and face cards, right? As you're going through the deck prospecting, you're saying the right things, you're going to attract the right people. You share what you believe about what we're trying to do, open and lead markets, make a difference, find people. If they go, I don't want to do that, but I wouldn't mind making extra money, they can get started with you. Of course, it's free, but you're looking for the team leaders, right? You're looking for people that want to lead and develop a team. That's what we recommend anyway. And if you do that, for every one ace card you have, you'll probably be making about $4,000 a month. Just ballparking overrides you'll make on that person monthly. So if you had 10 of those, that's about 40,000 a month. Now, an ace card is someone who's a leader, doesn't need you anymore, and is focused on their team, supporting and growing their team, and supporting and helping their team get customers and do things. 4,000 is actually low, but for someone who's an ace out there doing it independently, you should make 4,000 in overrides in every one of them. What if you had 10 of them? That's 40,000 a month. That's without you acquiring the new customers. That's just with you staying qualified. And so 40,000 a month on a team of 10 ace cards, how long does it take you to find 10? Well, it depends. I mean, you could find 10 next week. If you talk to 150 and you say the right things to those 150 and you find 30 of them say I'm in and they're jacks, they're aces and faces. And then at the end of the day, you got your 10 aces. It can happen that quick, right? Now, it's not likely, but it can happen that quick. So the point is, are you providing an escape route? Are you providing a debt-free route? Are you providing a financial independence route? Are you providing a debt-free route? What route are you providing? Are you providing just a little supplemental income so people can go on vacation once a year? You know, I use Amex all the time for most bills that DAC pays and I pay. If they'll take Amex, I'll pay with Amex. Why? Because I want the points to get free vacations. I mean, if our Zoho system for DAC costs us, $600 a month, and that can be on Amex, 7,200 points a year. And, it doesn't take long, many of those things, and you got free vacations. Well, guess what? Talking to a few people, it's the same as talking to a few people about our funding. Someone stay-at-home dad or stay-at-home mom or retirees, talking to a few people a day about our funding, just part-time. Okay, boom, I got a funding this month. Yeah, look at that. I made $6,000. I'm going to go on vacation with that. Oh, look at this. 6 months later, I got another funding today. This is fantastic. I made $3,000. I'm going to do this with that $3,000. It doesn't have to be a dedicated get after it, but it does have to be an active. So what are you offering to people? If you recognize what you have, the benefit I have is I was recruited by people who made a lot of money, and I've recruited people who've made a lot of money. So you can't shake my belief. Just like Century 21 agents or EXP agents or any of these others, if you've done well at EXP, you're not bothered by the 9 out of 10 who never sell a home. You're not bothered by that. You understand there's aces and faces, and the rest are non-face cards, right? And some are a 4 and a 6 and a 2 and a 9, and they think they want to do real estate, and they get their license and they decide they don't want to. Or they get their health insurance license, decide they don't want to talk about health insurance. Or they get their life insurance, I don't want to talk about life insurance. Or they become a DAC agent, I don't want to be a DAC agent. We're not bad, smacking anyone for not wanting to be an agent. We're okay with that. We expect it, otherwise we'd be charging fees and providing extra services for those fees, right? But we don't want anyone to lose money. So all that is to say, start with your belief in what this can be for them. Okay, I'm at 21 minutes. I'm going to show you one more thing. This one may go 30 minutes. I wanted to go 15 each time. This one may go 30 because I want to show you something. I want to unblur my screen. Oh, that's not how. Okay, I want to show you this. You can ignore the systems. That's just stuff that I've got in my constant reminder of what we're doing. Here's your 5-step process for approaching someone. You make a list. don't look at it as a cold, oh, you make a list and call them, and it's not a uncompassionate or non-empathetic. It's a caring, dedicated. I'm making a team of my target. Who would I want to be my partner? That's what I mean by list. It doesn't mean just go grab your phone book and call everyone. Although you can do that, it's look through your phone book first and say, who do I know in here is entrepreneurial, B2B, would love the opportunity to help lead a group or be real dedicated to the business. Now you prejudge initially, but also understand that's wrong a lot. But you start with who would I reach out to if I want to be? I got a call the other day from someone starting a business. They want me to be a partner, an investor and partner. I'm not interested, but they made a short list and called me. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm kind of honored that they did. If you call people and say, I'm calling a short list because I'm looking for some people that really want to help build this. And I thought of you. I went through my phone book and I thought I made a list of 22 of you out of the 700 of my phone. There's 22 who I think could really rock and roll with this. So I started with you. They'd be honored, even if they say they're not interested, or they may refer you to someone, as I've done. I've referred that person to some other people. And so they'd be honored. So that's what I mean by this. You approach them, you share what you believe, you ask them if they're interested in learning more, you have them see the presentation, or you meet and do a one-on-one presentation with them, or you meet and do a presentation with your up team leader. And then if they decide they want to join, you put them into training right away. The funding training is what we're leading with, of course. And then the other trainings. And then from there, you do a private game plan after they've been through the training, after they've dedicated and invested a little time, because they may be a 5, even though they said they're Jack or ace or king. They may be a 5 and not willing to go through any training at all and just want to keep peppering you with questions, right? So just let them know in the process when you're getting them started. Our process is you get started, you read your welcome letter, you go through some trainings, and then we meet again. If you let them know that up front, you set an expectation, and they start calling. You remember what we said? We said we do the training, we meet, and then we meet after you do the training. So, and then you do a private game plan with them, which is listed in our team leadership stuff. And from the game plan, you set goals with them. And those goals determine activity levels. At the very bottom of the game plan is creating the activity recipe. Activity creates aptivity. Aptivity creates income. Income creates goals. The reason why. So you do the game plan, you set up the recipe. All right. So there's the 5 steps. But what I want to show you here is keeping in mind your personal commission, you make 40% of bonus revenue. If you're amped up 60, 70, or 80, this is what I know it's green there. Sorry. Let me do this. There you go. You see that? 40, 60, 70, 80. I should be a percent sign there. If you're amped up, you make 60, 70, or 80, right? Now, also on this is what you earn on the people you personally enroll. Okay. On the people you personally enroll, this is all in the comp plan details, but the people you personally enroll, you make 10 to 50% of their income on their funding. And you make 10% if you're not amped up or not engaged. You make 25% if you're engaged, and you make 50% if you're amped up. So who determines whether you're at 10, 25, or 50? You. Amped up means you got a client in the last 30 days of at least 600 bonus revenue, a new client. You're amped up. If in the last 30 days you got a client, there's a lot of you watching this, you're amped up. You got a client, you're amped up. That means you're making 60% on your own personal client. I know you can't see that, but let me finish that. You're making 60% on your own personal clients if you get a new one, but you're also making 50% on anyone you personally enroll. You're at this level because you're amped up. Now, after 30 days, you lose your amped up status, but you're still engaged for another 30. So if you get a new client, you're engaged for 60 days, which gives you the 25% on your personal team. Okay. So 10, 25, or 50, which would you rather earn? All that means is if I get a $50,000 funding and I make 4% of that, let's just say I make $2,000, you're going to make 10% of that or 200. You're going to make 25% of that or 500, or you're going to make 50% of that 1,000. You can make 1,000 on my funding versus 200, make 5 times as much if you're amped up. Okay, so that's the value of being amped up, is you also make more on the people you personally enroll. All right, so we got that, you understand that, but there's one more thing I want to show you. It's called DAC 1, DAC 2, and DAC 4. If you only had this, personal commissions and enroller commissions, a 1-level team, you're totally cool. You don't need anything more, right? But we also have what we call DAC 1, 2, and 4. And that is having one funding client of at least 600 bonus revenue, two funding clients, or four. I think it's 10, 20, or 40, right? So look at the comp plan to qualify for DAC 1, 2, or 4. But you at least have to have four clients, two clients, and one client, okay? When you have those clients, I think it's 10, 20, 40, yeah. When you have those clients, you then also get 10% more, 5%, 15 on your personally enrolled. So now you're making, let's say you're at the 50% level, you're making 60 if you're a DAC 1. So if you got a client today, you're amped up for 30 days. You recruit someone new tomorrow, you're making 50% plus 10% because you're a DAC 1. You're making 60% of what they make on their funding for the next 30 days. If after 30 days they don't get a funding and you don't get a funding, you fall back down to, you're back to engage, you're making 25 plus 10, right? But this 10 isn't just on the people you personally enroll. This goes down through your entire organization. So if there's no DAC 1s beneath you, and let's say you introduce me and I don't do anything, I'm a 4, and I introduce this person and they don't do anything, and this one doesn't do anything yet. Maybe they're trying, but haven't gotten anyone yet. I've introduced these 3 people, none of them got a funding, but each one of these gets one who gets a funding. Who's the DAC 1 upline? This goes down through your open line. Who in this team is a DAC 1? They're not yet. They haven't gotten one. I'm not yet. I haven't gotten one. You're the first DAC 1 up the line. So even though you didn't enroll these people, any fundings they get are, you make 10% of what they make, even though they're 4 levels down. So let's say one of them got a $300,000 funding, which just happened 2 weeks ago. Or let's just say it like this, rather than talk funding. Let's say one person made $8,000 2 weeks ago or yesterday. Someone else $200,000 times 4. Another one made $6,000, and this one only made $100. Small funding. You're getting 10% of this 8, 10% of this 6, and 10% of that 1 because you're a DAC 1. If you're not a DAC 1, you're this person, like me and like you. That 800 goes by you to the first DAC 1 up the line. Another 5 goes to the first DAC 2 up the line. Is that you? Another 15% goes to the first DAC 4 up the line. Is that you? So team building, your enroller bonus is what we focus on. Your personal bonus is what you focus on. You can control these 2 better. But as you climb this ladder, imagine if you're a DAC 4 and in your team, you had, let's just say, 20,000 in commissions paid out in your team amongst all the fundings in your team. But you're the only DAC 4. Everyone else is under a DAC 2 or below. There's a DAC 2 here, a DAC 2 there, a DAC 1 there, all these fundings. You've already been paid on all those, but now they're capturing the DAC 2 bonus. They're capturing the DAC 1 bonus in your team. But as that bonus, this 10% looks up line and says, who's the first DAC 1? Oh, they got it. Who's the first DAC 2? They got it. And there's no other DAC 4s. You're getting 15% of that 20 grand. You made $3,000 this month on overrides, and it's only 20,000 in commissions. It's not like it's 200,000 in commissions. On 20 grand, you're making 15% of that 20,000. You made $3,000 in debt, just this one little override. Not counting your enroller bonuses. Now, watch this. Matt Dehane loves talking about this. Let's say you're the enroller. You're now, let's say you're a DAC 4, and you enroll me, and I'll end with this. Doesn't matter about the rest of your team. You got all your other team too, but here's you, and you're a DAC 4. And by the way, there's like 6 other overrides up above. I'm not even talking about those. You're a DAC 4, and you're amped up. You're amped up. Means you're here. You get 60% on any new clients you get, the 40 plus the 20. You're getting 50% on anyone you enroll because you're amped up. Plus, you're DAC 4, so you get the DAC 1, the DAC 5, DAC 2, and DAC 4. So you get 50 plus 10 plus 5 plus 15 on my first funding, 60, 65, 75, 80%. So I go out, you recruit me, and you're offering me this great opportunity to set myself free, escape the rat race, and I go out and I just help someone get a 50,000. I make $2,000. You're making 80% of that. You made $1,600 by recruiting someone new and helping them just make $2,000 this month. Now let's say, oh, you fall, you're no longer amped. I didn't get a client yet, and you lose your amp status because you didn't get one either, and you're just at this level now on your enrollers. You still make 25 plus 10 plus 5 plus 15, which is 55%. So I make that 2 grand 60 days from now instead, 2 grand, you still make 25, 35, 40, 55% of that 2 grand or $1,100. See how when you enroll someone new, not only are you giving them a gift, an opportunity without the risk, no guarantee, but they don't need to spend 7 months paying money, getting licensed. They don't need to pay for errors and omission insurance. They got to be responsible for what they do, of course, but there's no regulatory body telling them they need to go get licensed at the state first. We're holding them accountable to doing things the right way, but they can get that done in a day. They could start today and be live tomorrow, already fully trained on getting customers. They're going to get the field training. You don't understand everything until you're out in the field doing it. So you want to hold their hand and help them. But if you hold their hand and help them, you're making 80% if you're amped up. Now, there's qualifications in DAC 1, DAC 2, DAC 4. You want to make sure you know about those. But even if you're just here, even if you're brand new and you're not amped up and you're not DAC 1, 2, or 4 because you've never gotten a client and you're only going to make 10% of their 2 grand, you're still making 200. And if you help someone else, all of a sudden they make 4 grand, you make 400. You help someone else make 8 grand, you made 800. Now we'd rather you make 25% instead of 10. So as you get clients, you qualify for these instead. You don't get this by being here longer. You get this by being qualified by getting clients. Now you can get engaged other ways, like reaching our area director level and having a certain number of clients in your history. Then you stay here for every month ever. But this is showing you the immediate financial impact you can have by giving them an immediate financial income opportunity. So it starts with your belief. It starts with the story that you're offering them. Most people are stuck in that triangle called corporate America, where they get their house paid for and they get their cars and it's a great lifestyle. They're not uncomfortable. They're not uncomfortable. But if they're trying to get raises to match at the speed of inflation, it's very hard. That's number one. Number two, and I know that because trying to give our corporate team raises at the speed of inflation is very hard. So performance, well, it's why we allow every one of our employees to be an agent, right? Because, hey, we want you to have the same opportunity we think is amazing. You want to get $100,000 raise, same way Harlequin can, same way I can, same way Wade can, same way Orlando can, same way everyone else can. Our pay plan, that's how performance helps the company. Performance helps us personally. And of course, performance helps the business owner who got the funding and helps the agent as well. So I wanted to show you this. It starts with your belief. It starts with offering that opportunity. And I go back, if I was still at General Motors, some of the buddies I started with just retired. One of them started the same year as me. I didn't know him till later, but he became the highest vice president in GM history of African American. So congrats to him. His name was Gerald Johnson. He just retired like in the last year. Started the same year I did. Actually started a year before me. So the CEO right now, she grew up in Commerce, Michigan, right up the road from me. Her kids played soccer with my nephews, my brother's kids. So you can become the top of a corporation. It is possible, but it's a 40-year commitment. Here, you give us 4 years. And by the way, those people had to be there 70 hours a week, 60 hours a week. You go on vacation, you think their phone's not ringing? You think they don't have to deal with issues in the plants, and you think they don't have to deal with why do they eventually want to retire? Because eventually you can't keep, it's like being a head coach of a football team or president of America. You're going to age quicker because it's stressful. How about something like this? So this is a lifestyle creating without creating health challenges, but there's no guarantee at the out front. We got to be like an ace. We got to behave like an ace. We got to train ourselves up like an ace. We got to go to bed each night, not beating ourselves up, but being liberated with the great activity that day and saying, I did the right things today. I did it. I did my thing. was talking to McGuire the other day. He's getting in shape. He's punching a heavy bag, and I'm talking to him about it. I said, "That's great that you're doing it." He goes, "Yeah, I'm going all out." He says, "I'm not just doing the heavy bag. I'm doing the food. I'm doing the exercise. I'm doing it all. The mindset, the getting good sleep, the water. I'm doing it all. Just hitting it from it." Exactly. That's what it's like to be healthy. You can't just do one. You got to do them all. You can't just be in DAC. But man, if you look at it and go, I'm going to be a great agent for getting customers. I'm going to be a great agent for recruiting new people. I don't expect everyone to say yes. I expect most not. I'm only looking for aces though. And I'm looking to find people that go, man, this is the best thing I've ever seen. This is going to set me free. The way I looked at that business that was selling water filters and air filters back in 1991 because it was something I didn't know about all the others. It was something that allowed me to work part-time on the side, marketing products that I knew worked and building a team to market products that I knew worked. Why wouldn't I? You've got something so much better. So much better. The average person I recruited in that business lost $4,000 to $5,000. I didn't know that was wrong. I didn't lose money. But when you're immature about it and you don't have the business experience, you think everyone will do it. And I've come to realize after the last 30 years, most won't do it. So let's not take advantage of them. Let's pay the performers well and not make money on those who aren't willing to perform. So that's what I wanted to cover with you today. I know I went a little long. I'll try to keep these to 15 minutes in the future, but being that we're just starting, sometimes there's a few messages that want to get out. Does anyone have any questions on anything I talked about? Or does anyone have any comments? Is this lighting a match? Is this doing anything for it? There's not a lot of people here. We're not promoting this, but I do see a chat. 1,700 offices. Thank you, Robert. 1,700 people of all of Century 21. There's only 1,700. Of all those hundreds of thousands, only 1,700 are leading a small market. If you had 10 people leading a small market for DAC and you're making $4,000 off each one, you're making 40 grand. If you had one, you're making 4 grand in overrides. Two, you're making 8 grand. Every one ace. Autopilot is trying to join. Setting needs to change. Okay. I'm sorry, that setting's not on. Any questions or comments from anybody? Any questions or comments? I can't see if people's hands are up.
Wade has a question.
Go ahead, Wade. Thanks, Mom.
Buddy, listen, my camera, for whatever reason, isn't working, but that's okay. Y'all, I know it's tough not to be able to see me because I look really good today. But I want to tell you guys that one thing that I really knew, but I had to rediscover it in my mind, is how to mine your database of reps and dig as deep as you possibly can and find that one person. Doesn't matter if they're 27 levels down. If that one person is the only one that wants to work with you and build this thing and take off, that saves you from having to go find a new person out there and recruit them, because they're already been recruited once. They just need some solidification that you are in this with them. And I have discovered that, and it is I mean, I'm getting ready to hit it really hard. I got a large team, and I haven't been doing that, but this comp plan's got me juiced. So that's all I want to say.
Hey, Wade, before you go away, I don't know if this is factual. Wade obviously earns income as a salary with his company Bridgepoint, and he also earns in the DAC pay plan. And is it not true that DAC outperformed your salary last month?
It did by quite a bit. Yeah.
It overrides.
Yeah, that's why I'm juiced up. I mean, I'm sitting here saying, what have I been doing? Why am I making? I mean, I won't even tell you how much, but it was a lot,
Well,
and it was a very exciting month for me. And my wife said, "Wait, you know how to do this. Why aren't you talking to all these people?" Because I made a lot of money on people that were really, really deep in my. I mean, one of them I personally recruited, but most of them it was from people that were really deep in the organization, and everyone above them had quit. And all of a sudden, the sparks are flying, and it's like I don't like to use the term wildfire anymore with what's happening in California, but that's what's happening. It's spreading very quickly, and people are getting on fire because of it.
Amen. And you know what's Wade and I, same thing, Wade, you were working 60, 70 hours running Bridgepoint. That's why you haven't been doing it. But and as am I with DAC. And what we both have recognized for everybody is if it's got to be, it's up to me. Every one of you should say that. If it's got to be, it's up to me. But also there's people on our team working 60 hours in jobs and we're telling them they can do it just a few hours extra a week. So we're practicing what we preach. And it's we always have, but you go through seasons of launches and things, and we're in one of those seasons. So hopefully, we're not the leaders of income in the field, working it the least. Hopefully, we are just in the mix like you guys are, earning great overrides and great businesses. So it's there for the taking, it's there for the making, but only for those who are willing to be a face or an ace and be a pro and go for it. You don't have to be a pro 30 hours a week, but you got to do it right when you do it. We teach what to do. Just do that. Do that and be okay with those who aren't interested in funding. Be okay with those who aren't interested in being in the business. All right. These are going to be fun. This is going to be my favorite day of the week. Tuesdays, because it's Team Building Tuesday, and we get to talk about, just like if I recruited you, that's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to have other people on too. It's not just going to be me. But when I sit across, I'll drive 4 hours to do a one-on-one with someone who said yes to the business, who's acting like an ace. Let's go. I want to help set you free. You're the type person who's going to take what we talk about and do it. Come on, man. Let's go. It's going to be fun. So we'll see you Tuesday of next week. Fill this up, start promoting it, fill it up, 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 fill it up. And let's see how many people we can have on next Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're doing a funding call. Hey, we're leading with funding, guys. It's a good thing. Be on there with Wade tomorrow. Get some good tips on getting funding customers and helping your team get funding customers. It's not the training, it's tips. It's not the training, it's tips. But there will be some great tips there. Make sure they've watched the basic funding training first. God bless you all. We'll talk to you soon.